So physicists, I just want to check in with you real quick. How did we do on these 4? Any issues or questions? We okay? Fantastic. If you have not yet started looking at the next 4, the rest of the front of the blue sheet, go ahead and do that right now. I'll put the answers up so you can take a look. And then if you have questions, I'm happy to answer them. But here are the answers to those next 4. Yeah.
Are these all like random pennants you have? I'm in here. Do they have some? Do they have some like meaning?
They do. Yeah. Let me tell everybody just because I've had a couple people ask. So somebody asked me what the pennants are. Let me grab your attention, friends. Just so that I don't have to shout over people. Somebody was asking what the pennants are about. So I stole this idea from one of the people that I student taught with when I was in grad school. And all of these pennants are from former students of mine. So they brought pennants back to me. So most of these are from my students in Des Moines from when I was there. I'm starting to collect my pennants on the Liberty Wall. So if you're a senior, when you go to school, if you go to a school that I don't have a pennant from, I would love, love, love to have you bring one back for me. And if you're a junior, when you eventually get to college, if you choose a different school, then bring it back so we can represent all those schools. That's what they're from. So yeah. Which also means if you are interested in those schools, that means that I have contacts of people that I know that are either there or have been there. So if you need if you want to talk to somebody about it or whatever, you can totally let me know. Because I love to talk about colleges. So anytime you want to know, yeah. All right. I want to hop back into the measurement stuff just so that we make sure that we have enough time to go through all of this before the end of the period today. So you're fine. It's all good. I just want to calm this down. Questions on any of 5, 6, 7, or 8? 7 and 8. Let's do them. Thank you for asking. All right, let's take a look. 7 and 8. All right, so let's look at 7 first. So it says 25 centimeters. We have to convert that to kilometers. So this is a 2-step problem. Both 7 and 8 are 2-step problems. So my recommendation would be to go from whatever prefix you have to the base unit of meters first, and then go to kilometers. That's going to be the easiest way to do it. So we have to remember how to do this and how to interpret our chart. I've had this conversation with a couple people already, but let's do it together. So 25 centimeters, I want to convert that to meters. And so in doing so, I literally am going to translate centa to what it means. So if you look at your green chart, what does centa mean? Means to the -2. So I'm going to write this instead of with centimeters, I'm going to write it as 25 times 10 to the -2 meters. Okay? And if it makes more sense to your brain to go ahead and move that decimal point over and write that as 0.25. Whoa, hello there. My stylus is fantastic today. My theory is that if I talk nice about it, then it'll work better. I don't know if it's actually true or not, but so if you want to write it like that, that's fine. I usually just leave it in scientific notation because it's comfortable with my brain. But again, if it makes more sense to you to do this, awesome, that's fine. So now we're in meters. Now we need to go to kilometers. If you're going to add a prefix in to a value, you also have to add the opposite of the power. Okay? So I'm going to write that down just so we don't forget. If we add a prefix, and y'all know what I mean by the prefix, right? Like that's the abbreviation, the N or the mu or the M or the C, whatever. Okay, if you add the prefix, you're also going to add the opposite of the power. So by that I mean, I want to go to kilometers. Kilometers is 10 to the 3rd. So I'm going to write this out in long version first. 25 times 10 to the negative 2 times 10 to the negative 3 kilometers. So when I add the prefix, I also add the opposite of the exponent or of the power. Okay? Then I've got 25 times 10 to the negative, so that's, what am I going to do with these exponents? Add them together. Negative 2 plus negative 3 gives me negative 5. So 25 times 10 to the negative 5 kilometers. Or I could say 2.5 times 10 to the negative 4 kilometers. Did I do that right? Double check me. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Or you can write it out. Move it up. That's okay with me too. Okay. I'm going to add a little note up here as well. If I remove a prefix, you're going to translate that into the power. Okay. These are kind of the 2 rules that you have to remember. So if you remove a prefix like we did from centimeters into meters, you're just going to translate it, from centa to 10. Ooh, you can't see that at all. Maybe you can, I don't know. Does that help a little bit? I see some faces that are like, I don't know. Let's try this one, okay? Again, as I said, if this is still not feeling great and you want to do this later, like if you want to come in and do some more with me later, that's totally fine too. Yeah?
So one question, do you like transfer from centimeters to meters first and then to kilometers?
That's the way that I do it. I will tell you that with this stuff, there are lots of people that teach it different ways. And if you know a different way that makes sense to you and gives you the right answer, you do it. You know what I'm saying? Different teachers teach it differently. And if you know it a different way, it's fine. You don't have to write it out the same way as long as you're getting the same place with it. Before I do number 8, I want to point out one little thing that has to do with number 7. If you choose to write out the answer in the standard notation, not scientific notation, please make sure that you include that leading 0, that 0 that's in front of the decimal. And the reason that I say that, not so much in that one, but if I had something like 0.76 meters, it's hard to tell sometimes if that's 0.76 meters or if that's 76 meters. And maybe you just set your pencil down for a second while you were thinking. You know what I mean? Like some of you put little, you just set your pencil down for a second. But if you put that 0 out in front, then holy cow, I know that that's got to be a decimal point. Because why would you write 0.76? Like that doesn't make any sense. So that leading 0 indicates that, yep, in fact, that is a decimal that I need to know when I'm working on that. Okay. Just one of those little notes from a teacher. Okay. Let's look at number 8. So number 8, we're going from megaliters to milliliters. It's the same kind of game that we did before. So we're going to follow that same list of things to do. I'm going to make that a little smaller so you can see it better. So I want to go from megaliters to liters. So if I'm going to remove a prefix, I'm just going to translate that into a power. So I've got 0.00560 mega is 10 to the 6th liters. Now, I don't know how y'all feel about like this yucky 0 notation. You can fix that and put that in standard notation first. I'm going to leave it like this for now, just because I don't want to confuse anything more. I'm getting a little bit of a confused look over there. Can I help you with something? Are we okay? Are you sure? Okay. I just want to make sure that I wasn't like totally confusing everybody. Okay. So mega means 10 to the 6th. So I'm literally just going to translate my prefix into my power. Okay. Mega 10 to the 6th. So highlight that. So mega turns into 10 to the 6th. Okay. Then I want to add a new prefix. The new prefix I want to add is milli. So I need to include the opposite of the power. So I'm going to look at that one. I'm going to say milli. Milli is 10 to the negative 3rd. So I need to add the opposite of that. So I'm going to write this out. It's going to be disgusting. 0.00560 times 10 to the 6th, yuck, times 10 to the 3rd milliliters. And again, this 10 to the 3rd is the opposite of the milli. Now, if you leave that as an answer, we'll all probably just turn our noses up because that's yucky, isn't it? So let's figure out what to do here. Let's do the 10 to the 6th and the 10 to the 3rd together. What's that going to give me? 10 to the 9th. So I've got 0.00560 times 10 to the 9th milliliters. And then just to make things a little bit nicer, because that's still kind of nasty, I'm going to move this over 1, 2, 3. What's that going to do to my exponent? Make it smaller by 3, isn't it? Yeah. 1, 2, 3. So that's going to be 5.60 times 10 to the 6th milliliters. Okay. How are we doing? A little better? Okay. Just kind of being cognizant of time and making sure that we are moving together. Flip your sheet over. There are 2 problems on the back. They're a little tougher. Would you like me to just go over them, or do you want a moment to talk first? Just go over them? I can go over them. So physicists, if you are feeling like I got this, and you want to just quietly talk so that you can compare, that would be great. Please stop. Please stop. Okay, thanks. But I would appreciate if the volume was low so that people that would like to see those problems have the opportunity to do them. As I'm doing this, I'm going to say a couple of things that I just want to make sure that everybody knows. The first of them is that you have access to a green sheet on every test and quiz that you take. So I have copies of the green sheet that are laminated, and tomorrow when you come in to take your quiz, you will have this with you. So you do not have to memorize anything on this. I am giving this to you so that you have access to it all the time, okay? So I don't want you to stress out about that. Same way, you have access to a calculator all the time as well, okay? If there's a time when we don't need a calculator, then you don't have to use it, obviously, but like you have access to one all the time, okay? Also, the test that we wrote came directly from this. So if you're feeling good with this, you're going to feel good on the quiz, okay? Excuse me, quiz, not test. If there are questions that you have on this, work on it, talk to me so that I can help you out. All right, here we go. So how many seconds are in a 47-minute class period? So the way that I like to set this up, I'm going to start with what I know. I know that I've got 47 minutes, and I'm going to convert that to seconds. And then I need to figure out what kind of multiples of 1 or factors of 1 can I write down here to get my conversion to happen. So every time I do one of these problems, I don't try and do them in my head because I'll tell you, about 30% of the time I get it wrong because I get it mixed up in my brain. So I always write it down. If you get it 100% of the time without writing it down, good for you, but there's no harm in writing it down, okay? I'm going from minutes to seconds. Which one's bigger, a minute or a second? A minute. How many seconds are in 1 minute? 60. So I'm going to put 60 seconds in 1 minute. This is a form of 1. Are you with me there? Okay, because they're equal. I put the seconds on the top because I want the seconds. And what's going to happen to these minutes here, friends? Bye! See you later. They're gone. Out of here. All right? So now I know exactly what to do. 47 times 60 will give me the number of seconds that I have. Okay? It's going to be a bigger number. That's good. So somebody plug that in if you haven't done so already to tell me the right answer. So I don't know what it is off the top of my head.
28.
What? 2,820 seconds. Okay. So like 2.82 times 10 to the 3rd would be a lovely way to write that. Okay. You'll notice that the number of sig figs here is different than the number of sig figs here. Your chemistry teachers would get really crabby with you. I don't really care as long as you are not being ridiculous about it, okay? So if it's to the hundredths or to the tenths, life is good, okay? Yeah,
We can still write it as 2,820, right?
good. Yep, that's fine with me. Yeah. How we doing? Is that okay? Let's do that other one real quick. Somebody last period said, is there gonna be one like this on the quiz? So if you don't know how to do this one, let's learn it, because we gotta figure it out for tomorrow, okay? Here we go. It's not super hard. We're just gonna multiply by 1 a bunch of times. So 1.12 meters per second. I would strongly recommend that instead of writing with a little dividing sign, you put the numerator in the numerator and the denominator in the denominator, okay? Just meters per second. And then I'm gonna know that I want to solve this in terms of kilometers per hour. Just gotta multiply by 1 a bunch of times. Let's do meters to kilometers first. Which one's bigger, a meter or a kilometer? A kilometer, right? Kilometer is 10 to the third. So how many meters are in a kilometer? 1,000. That means there's 3 zeros, that's 1,000. Okay, so I'm gonna multiply by a factor of 1. Do I want the meters on the top or on the bottom? I want them on the bottom so they'll cancel out. So I'm gonna say 1,000 meters in 1 kilometer. Bam, my meters are gone. So already I've got my kilometers, but I still have seconds and I want hours. So we need to say to ourselves, which is bigger, an hour or a second? An hour. You can ask yourself this question a couple different ways. You could say, how many seconds are in an hour? Anybody know? 3,600. If that pops into your brain right there, boom, that's fantastic. If it doesn't, take it step by step. It's absolutely okay to do that. I'm going to do it that way just to make sure that we're really clear, okay? I'm going to say that there are 60 seconds in 1 minute. I'm putting the seconds on the top to cancel with the seconds on the bottom. You with me there? Okay? Seconds go away with seconds. Now I've converted it to minutes, but I haven't done enough. I only have it in seconds. I want it in hours. So I'm going to say to myself again, okay, how many minutes are in an hour? 60. See, 60 times 60 is 3,600, which is where those people got it if they had it in their brain. Again, no judgment if you have it or don't. It does not matter to me. Where am I going to put the hours, on the top or the bottom? Where do I want the hours? I want them on the bottom. So I'm going to put them on the bottom and put the minutes on the top so they cancel, right? I kind of asked that backwards. I apologize if that was confusing. 60 minutes in 1 hour. Minutes and minutes go away. And this tells me exactly what to do, okay? So you can take the 1.12, divide by 1,000, and then multiply by 60, multiply by 60. If it makes it more sense in your brain, you could do 1.12 times 60 times 60, and then don't forget to divide by 1,000, okay? I want everybody to do that real quick. I want you to compare with your table mates and write the answer on your whiteboard, okay? I want to check in and make sure that that is working before we're done.
Page 30.
So you got things like 4.032. Yeah, so 4.032 or so. So sig figs wise, you know, maybe 4.03. I'm not going to get, you know, nothing's going to get too upset there. That's how many kilometers per hour it is, okay? So just to clarify, we've got a couple minutes. Don't pack up yet, friends. We're not quite there. Just to clarify, I also had a couple of other problems for you to work. They were from page 15, so if you need some more practice, page 15 is there. And I've got this one that's got the answers on it. I will also put this up on Canvas so you have access to it if you want to look at those. These are from your book as well. And then also remember that there is homework for you to work on as well. So you've got lots of opportunities for practice. Remember that tomorrow, first thing when we come in, you're going to take a quiz. Again, it's going to look very similar to this. Not identical, but similar, okay? Different numbers, different units, but close, okay? I'll pull it up. Hold on just a second. Nope, it's just for you. Would you please make sure that the whiteboards and markers get put away and the rags as well?